This is the Mercedes CLA Shooting Brake Orange Art Edition, a car with about as much fashion sense as me, or rather me when I was 16, which is when I bought this rather fetching piece of attire. Question is, by reprising it, do I look like I'm at the cutting edge of fashion, or just like a bald bloke in his mid-30s trying to dress like a teenager? And so it is with this particular CLA Shooting Brake. Don't worry though, you can also order it in more conventional colour schemes. So with that in mind, let's take a closer look at this car, which is supposed to blend the style of a coupe with the space of an estate. The Shooting Brake is based on the CLA 4-door coupe, which is itself based on the A-Class. So I suppose this is kind of an A-Class estate really. However, while there's a respectable 495 litres of space, it's actually not the most practical of estate cars because there's this high load lip, which isn't great. There's also a really chunky bumper, so if you want to put something right at the back of the car, you lean over and you get dirty trousers. Finally, of course, you can see that it's not the widest of openings. So while there's a lot of space, using it is actually not as straightforward as you might think. Thankfully, Mercedes hasn't forgotten about practicality entirely, and so the back seats do fold flat to allow you to carry longer loads. Space in the back, you can see as I shoehorn myself in, is pretty tight. I'm 5'11", this driver's seat's set for me. And look, my knees are completely wedged in here. Headroom is actually okay, but because this window line comes down so low here, it feels really claustrophobic in here. It's very dark, and this middle seat, yeah, you can just about get an adult. You've got this high transmission tunnel here to straddle. It's not a big family estate car, that's for sure. Not very easy to get out either. The CLA is intended to be a smaller version of the CLS Shooting Brake. However, in a big car like the CLS, you can get away with sacrificing some of the practicality and still have a car that's very usable, and I'm not sure that this car quite gets away with that. Having said that, up here in the front it is fine. There's lots of storage spaces, more under there, a big glove box, and plenty of adjustment in the seat, and of course in the steering wheel. Quality for the most part is good, and although the CLA doesn't use a touchscreen, the Mercedes Command online system is quite intuitive, if hugely expensive at almost £1,900. The other area where the bigger CLS makes up for any deficit in practicality is in how beautifully smooth it is to drive. But sadly, the same can't be said of the CLA. Today we're testing the C220 diesel with 7-speed automatic dual-clutch gearbox and 4-wheel drive, and it's a bit of an underwhelming combination. With 177 horsepower, the engine has enough oomph to be interesting, but it's really noisy and sends vibrations through the pedals and steering wheel. The engine does settle down once you're up to a cruise, but even on 18-inch wheels, which is the smallest you can get on the CLA, and with comfort suspension albeit lowered, the ride quality is still a bit fidgety. On the plus side, the 50 miles per gallon we've been getting isn't at all bad when you consider the 8-second 0 to 60 time and the decent in-gear acceleration. Other engine options include a less powerful C200 diesel as well as a pair of petrol units, which are quieter but not as economical. The real highlight though is the A45 AMG model, which has more than 350 horsepower and is a riot to drive. Unfortunately, the same can't be said of the rest of the Shooting Brake range, which lack that dynamic sparkle that makes the AMG models stand out. The problem is, although there's not a huge amount of road noise or wind noise, the engine is noisy when you accelerate and the ride is firm. And what that means is that the CLA Shooting Brake is not a great cruiser like the CLS. But nor is it particularly engaging to drive because the steering, while responsive enough, doesn't offer anything in the way of feedback. It's not that the CLA Shooting Brake is a horrible car, but I just struggle to see how it justifies its price premium over an A-Class. The range starts at £26,000 and this diesel automatic Orange Art edition is 35 grand. That kind of money buys a lot of estate car, including the much faster and roomier Volkswagen Golf R. The idea behind having a car like this in the Mercedes range is that it appeals to younger buyers, but you have to wonder if younger buyers can afford a car as expensive as this. Confused? Me too. Don't forget to tune in next time where I promise not to wear this jacket. You can also click up here to subscribe to our YouTube channel and go to the Telegraph Cars website by clicking up here to read detailed reviews of all the latest cars on sale.